I'm at the dining table, crying while I write the letter, thinking about how I'm ending this chapter of my life that lasted 10 years. A chapter with a happy start, but a sad ending. I start my letter with thank you, polite, as that's how I am, or try to be. But no, damn no, I don't want to say thank you. I want to tell him how he's ruined my life. I want to tell him how he's wasted 10 years of it. I want to tell him what an asshole he is. I did think we would have a happily ever after when he asked me to move to Singapore 3 months ago. In fact, less than a year into our relationship, he gives me a ring promising love, devotion, and fidelity. Well, there was none of that. I pen my thoughts in this letter and place it on the dining table. I remove my ring and place it beside the letter. Still crying, I leave the apartment, shut the door behind me, and take a taxi to my new paying guest accommodation. The taxi ride reminds me of my taxi ride just 3 months ago, April 2007, when I'm driving from Changi Airport to a place that was soon going to become my home. I was so excited to finally be with my boyfriend of 10 years. Yes, 10 years. I ring the doorbell and was received with a pair of bleary eyes and a simple, "Hey, hope you had a good flight." I did, thank you. In my heart of hearts, I was hoping for a bouquet of red roses on the table or a fancy breakfast laid out for me. There was none of that. A week later, I'm in the kitchen, sauteing vegetables and grilling salmon, wondering whether I should pair the meal with a Chardonnay or a Pinot Noir. Just as I've decided on the Chardonnay and started plating our dinner, he calls. "Sorry, I can't make it for dinner tonight. There's a last-minute office due that I need to go to. Please carry on, and I'll see you in the morning." "Sure," I say. This is the third time in the week I'm having dinner on my own. I do justice to the salmon and the wine, 2 glasses of it. I'm spending more and more time on my own, doing things I've never done before. I go out to restaurants on my own. I even go to the movies on my own. Love and loneliness is all-encompassing. He's spending time with colleagues as B-School alumni. Bizarrely, I started spending time with random people. A close friend in London introduces me to a friend's friend in Singapore, whom I go out with once. That just wasn't my cup of tea, but I do it for company. That night, while I was in bed, I decided to make a phone call the next day to my parents. "Dad, would it be okay to stay home for a while Mom visits me in Singapore?" Before my dad even responds, my mom says, "Has a wedding date been fixed yet? Should I go ahead and book a venue because good venues are hard to come by during wedding season?" "Mom, why don't you first come to Singapore and then we'll talk about it? It's natural for them to get excited. 3 months ago, I told them I'm moving to Singapore and I'm going to be getting married. And now I don't talk about a venue. I don't talk about the wedding date." My dad interjects, "Sure, we'll get Mom on a flight this week." I'm at Changi Airport, very happy to see my mom. She's as excited to see me, but I could sense that she was wondering why I'm alone. In no time, she realized that I was lonely and terribly confused. She knew that I'd invited her here to help me navigate through one of my life challenges. "Nilofer, are you happy?" she asks. "Yes, Mom, I am. I love living in Singapore. Look at this place." "No, are you happy in your relationship?" "Because the way I see it, there is no relationship." "Mom, we'll work it out." "If you haven't worked it out for 10 years, I doubt you will now. It may be time to move on." "You're right, Mom. But how do I reset my life? He's the only man I've known and loved." "You can and you will," she says. "But I don't want to be alone. Move on and don't look back. Go out and meet people. There is someone out there for you. Remember that." I smile through my tears at my mom's optimism. While I know she's putting on a brave front, she was hurting within just as much as I was, maybe more. I finally decided to end my 10-year relationship. I move out of the apartment. He wasn't there that day. My mom moves back to India the same week. And surprisingly, I find myself with a renewed sense of liberation, of energy, of optimism. A part of it was also because I received an email from the company that I interviewed with recently saying that I got the job. I was so excited to celebrate. I went out for a massage, for dinner, and also did a lot of shopping. My day at work, my first day at work was very good. I was introduced to a lot of fun-loving people. That same evening, I received a message from one of my fun-loving colleagues asking me out to dinner. What was happening was someone asking me out on a date. I've been in a relationship for 10 years and I hardly went out on a date. And in less than 10 hours, this man is asking me out, a complete stranger. I should just say no. I'm on the rebound. My mom's words kept ringing in my head. When you move on, don't look back. Go out and meet people. I kept reading and rereading the message on my screen. Should I just say NO? With a little trepidation, I typed YES and pressed send. Thank you.